Okay, good morning, everyone. Now let's continue with chapter number 5, acquisition, development, and implementation of information systems. We were on system designing. Now tell me, what are the common points for input design and output design? What is the memory technique?
FCTV or FM.
FCTV, FM. Now we have seen what is conceptual design, how to do data modeling and all. Now we will see how to do a physical design. Now first we will prepare a logical design and then we will convert it into a physical design. We will have softwares to prepare a logical design. Now, how to prepare a physical design? They have already told that use a logical design, use a software, and then convert it into a physical design. Now, what is the auditor supposed to do in this case? What he is supposed to check? He is supposed to go to this person and ensure that the system that we are developing now is efficient and effective. So these are the primary audit objectives. Out of that, you have to only see whether it is efficient and effective. You don't have to talk about safeguarding of assets or whether audit trail is visible or not. Only say the system has to be efficient and effective. Then also see whether the other issues are also addressed in the physical design. What are the other issues? The hardware component for client and for server. Then the processing time. Then the frequency of input and output. See, if the frequency of input and output is more, what we will do is we will use an aggregator which will combine a lot of transactions or commands, and then all of these will be executed in an intensive block of time. We will do that, or if the frequency is very less, we don't need such a software or a extension. Then processing time, is the processing time reduced? Is it less as compared to the earlier system? That we have to see. And the hardware for client and server, whatever requirements were there for the earlier system, whether they have been implemented in the new system or not. For that purpose, we will check the hardware and software for client and server also. So basically what we are seeing again here is input, output, processing. Instead of storage, we are talking about here hardware for client and server. So these are the points you have to write in case what are the issues to be addressed by auditor in case of a physical design. Now, one more point they have mentioned is about the system's operating platform. Okay, we are talking about system operating software here. If it is not available in the market, we will design it on our own. Okay, we have the logical design, we know the vision, we have the idea. What we will do is we will prepare a logical design first, then we will try to convert it into the physical design. Now again here, what is the auditor's concern? What the auditor is supposed to do? If the system operating software is also prepared by us, if it is purchased from the market, we will just use some techniques to verify whether the manufacturer has provided a good software or not. We will just do code check and all. But if it is developed in-house, what we will do is we will see whether modularity and generality is observed. What is modularity? We have seen yesterday the architectural design, modules and submodules. So if the entire process is divided into modules and submodules, and it is understandable and it is divided in such a way that the work can be done efficiently, then we will say that the modularity has been observed. Once again, if the process has been divided into modules and submodules, which enables the organization to complete the work efficiently and effectively, it means that the modularity has been observed. Now, what is generality? Generality means the instructions how to use this system operating software has been given, and it is understandable by everyone. There are no specific instructions, or you don't need any expertise to use this operating system. Just follow the instructions. They're in understandable format, and you will be able to use the software. So that is how we will observe generality in the system operating software. Earlier, we were in physical design. What we have to ensure is effectiveness and efficiency. When we are developing system operating software, we have to see whether modularity and generality is observed or not. Only 2 or 3 points are there. Now, internal design controls. We have now implemented, or we have prepared the system operating software. We have prepared the database. We have prepared the architectural design. We have prepared the data design. After this, we will also prepare some internal controls. Now we will call these as internal design controls. What we will do is we will prepare reports and give it to the management. These reports will be for stage 1, stage 2 processing. What is stage 1? It is the preliminary working of the software, just like a prototype, as prototype 1 and prototype 2. That like that we will have stage 1 and stage 2. Now what we will do is this management report, MRS management report for stage 1 and stage 2, we will refer it to the system designer. Why we will refer it to the system designer? So that he can understand whether he is able to prepare the software as per the requirements of the organization or not. So first we will prepare a management report for stage 1 and stage 2, and then we will refer it to the system designer. After this, we will see whether all the control aspects have been covered or not. Once again, we will look at the design and all, whether input, output, processing, storage, then whether controls are there for input design, output design, then data design, database design, and whether efficiency and effectiveness in case of physical design, and modularity and generality in case of system operating software. So if all these things are there, we will say that all the control aspects have been covered. If for system operating platform, modularity is not there or generality is not there, we will include it in the management report. Then we will make sure that all controls are documented. If it is documented, it will be easy for the internal auditor, system designer, and everyone in the organization to understand the new software and what are the controls attached to it. So we will make sure that everything is documented. And then internal auditor review. We will also see whether internal auditor on his own has taken efforts to review whether the internal controls are EEC or not. What is EEC? Existent, effective, and continuous. So these were some easy questions for system designing.
So one small doubt, what is the difference between the physical design and the architectural design, sir?
Physical design and
Architectural design.
In physical design, we are actually talking about the hardware, and in architectural design, we are talking about hardware, software, everything. Okay, logical design.
The whole as such in architecture.
Yes. In architectural design, we are not just talking about the software, we are talking about data, database, input, output, everything. So architectural design, it is like the preliminary stage of the entire system design.
Okay, sir.
See, what we did first was we prepared a blueprint for the website. Then we prepared an input design, how people will enter the data into the website. Then output design, what output the website must give after the students have entered the data. Then when this data has been received by the website, how processing will be done? That will be the design of data or information flow. Then how this data will be stored in the database. That is a design of database. We will either do conceptual modeling, then we will do data modeling, then we will prepare physical layout design and storage structure designs. Then we have prepared a physical design for it. We have also developed a system operating platform. See, if you look at this now, you can get an overview and understand it better, because first every question you have understood now. Now let me ask you a question. What is functional decomposition?
Each function has been separated in different modules, that the sub-modules, and through which the system has been worked.
Okay, fine. Now tell me what is happening here. First, tell me who are these people.
Consumer and the salesperson, sir.
Yes, sir.
Customer and the.
Yes. What are we doing there? What we are there to do?
Bargaining.
Okay, bargain. Yes, sir. Do you know these characters, or have you understood what I'm trying to convey? Okay, fine. There is a very famous TV serial in India. This is a scene from one of those serials. This person, he has an electronics shop of his own, and the other person, he is a technical person which he has hired to help the customers understand what are the functionalities of the electronic systems that he has, and do all the bargaining and see. So this is the owner, the blue shirt guy, and this is the technical person, the other guy. Now let's see how to do system acquisition. First, we will go into the shop. But before going to the shop, we will make sure that we know our security requirements, reliability requirements, and functionality requirements. After we know what are the requirements in these three subjects, we will choose an appropriate vendor. After we choose an appropriate vendor, we will go to his shop. We will talk with him. After we are satisfied that this is a good person, he will not cheat us, or the software quality is going to be good, we will enter into a contract with him. We will do either that, or instead of going to his shop, talking with him, what we will do is we will give an invitation in the newspaper or on our website or in the business community that we are looking for a software person who can give us the software or the system. So what we are giving is we are giving us invitation to solicit. Invitation to solicit. That please prepare your quotations and approach us. We want to buy system softwares from one of the vendors. That is what the news that we will share, and that is what is called invitation to solicit. Now remember, this invitation to solicit is given only to a certain specific vendors. We are not going to allow everyone to solicit us. We will mention the requirements and the functionalities there, and we will say that If the company has a experience of 10 to 20 years and all, then they will have the benefit of soliciting the company. Others, please don't solicit. So no third party or a local vendor and all who doesn't meet these requirements can prepare an invitation to solicit, or he can accept and prepare a proposal. Then if you also want to approach the third parties or the local vendors, even if they are not meeting the requirements, but you think that they have the potential to develop such a system, you will prepare a request for proposals to solicit. So for specific people, we will use invitation to solicit. For everyone, including the third party and the local vendors, we will prepare a request for proposals to solicit. We can also call it as RFP. For third party and local vendors, we will use RFP. What is this RFP again? The local vendors will prepare quotations. They will say that we cannot achieve all these requirements, but we will make sure that majority of the requirements will be satisfied. And as per that, this is the pricing that we are giving. That is a request for proposal. Here, only one thing that we have to ensure is the three subjects: security, reliability, functionality, that all the requirements have been identified and the contracts, all the requirements have been satisfied. So first, we will go ourselves. If we don't want to go ourselves, we will give an invitation to solicit to specific people. If you also want to include third parties, we will give RFP. What is RFP? Request for proposals to solicit. Three things we have to ensure: that security, reliability, and functionality requirements, we ourselves have the clarity. After we have the clarity, we will check whether these vendors are providing the same, and only then and after that we will accept the contract. Till then, we will not accept the contract. So this is how the system acquisition will be done by the organization. That is why we call it as an acquisition standard. Now this, you can understand why they are taking so much efforts, because a lot of money is involved, and if the security, reliability, and functionality requirements of a software is not met, it may lead to problems in the future stage. If you want to buy a laptop or a TV, tell me, what are the measures you take on your own? Or a smartphone, what are the measures you will take on your own?
Search in the net about the
Okay, you will search on the internet what are the functionalities provided by device. Then
see who and all has the product. Say it is Amazon or Flipkart or the local vendors. Search for the vendors which give the highest discount or the genuine product.
so you will see customer feedback and the discount programs. Will you give an invitation to solicit?
Yeah, if is there any other new product which was not known to me, then probably I would ask the salesperson, is there any other product which is equivalent to such features or something?
And how you will give this invitation to solicit?
By telling what features you require to the salesperson.
Okay, and will you give request for proposal?
Request for proposal. Yes, sir. If the product will be able to manage, like if suppose a technician, AC technician, he wants to do a he has the capacity to do an AC. Probably I will ask for an assembled one or from him.
Okay.
To get the good quality of.
Understand this invitation to solicit. If you are doing on your own, Then you will approach the companies like Samsung, Apple, Microsoft. These type of companies will approach you. So that is invitation to solicit. But if you are going to China, into the means not now, I'm just talking hypothetically, because they have a very large internet electronics market there, where you can get all the functionalities, all the goods of the required quality at a very less cost. You can literally get a phone better than Apple for just 2,000 to 3,000 rupees there. But the thing is that you have to go there and check it on by yourself. That is why they are able to afford mobile phones like Oppo, Vivo, and all. So if you are going there, if you are meeting the local vendors and all, then it is a request for proposal. So I just asked this question, what you will do. Remember, we will never do invitation to solicit or request for proposal. What we will do is we will do normal buying and selling method. We will go to the shop, we will check the requirements, and we will purchase it. We will not give invitation to solicit and request for proposal. Invitation to solicit, we have to contact with the vendors. Vendors as in the actual company, Apple, Samsung, BlackBerry, and all. Okay, we have to contact the company and we have to tell them that these are our requirements. Please make sure that you provide this product as per the requirements. If it is not as per the requirements, don't reply to this message. Then a request for proposals. Instead of talking with the vendor, we will go to these local vendors and we will talk with the technicians there. That is request for proposals. Yes, are you getting the picture? Now let's see. Now we are acquiring components from the vendors. What we will do is first we will prepare a system acquisition committee. It is like a steering committee or the recovery committee and all. Just like that, we will have a system acquisition committee. These are probably the technicians in the organization, so that whenever we are retrieving the components or purchasing the components, immediately they will check whether it is compatible for the organization or not. We will refer to the request for proposals. Now here we have to, while acquiring components, we have to remember 4 things. What are the 4 things? How to do vendor selection, geographical location, presentation by selected vendors, and evaluation and users feedback. Remember these 4 things. Now vendor selection. We have to select the vendors before before we give the request for proposals, we are supposed to do a background check that whatever electronic systems this vendor is providing, whether all the customers are happy with it or not, whether customers suggest you this product, whether it is performing good, whether the price is low. We will see whether the market feedback is positive in relation to the products given by that vendor or not. So this is what you will do before you issue a RFP. What is RFP? Request for proposal. So this is like a preliminary investigation of a vendor. So this is how we will select a vendor. Then we will make sure that the vendor is in the same geographical location, and if it is not there, at least the local support persons must be there within our geographical location. Then these local support persons, what we have to make sure is they have the technical experts also to make us understand or support us with working of the system. After the technician has evaluated it in the shop, we will purchase the software, we will bring it into our company or the organization, and once again our technicians also, means the system acquisition committee also on its own will do the technical validation. So we are going to cross check the technology twice. once in the Shopee and once in the organization. In the organization, who will do that? System acquisition committee will do it. So that was the point related to geographical location. Then presentation by selected vendors. We will organize a meeting for the local vendors, not the local vendors, any vendor. We will see whether they have prepared a presentation or not. In the presentation, they will tell whether all the requirements, security, reliability, functionality have been satisfied or not. As per that, we will also test it then and there. So if the technical validation is okay, if and only if the system technical validation is okay, we will present the same to system acquisition committee. If it is not okay, we will never bother system acquisition committee. Okay, so first step is we will organize a meeting. They will prepare their presentations. We will ensure that the technical validation is done. And if the technical validation is okay, only then we will allow them to do a presentation to the system acquisition committee. And in the end, we'll also do evaluation of users' feedback so that we can understand what are the problems they have in relation to these systems. After a presentation is made to the system acquisition committee, what we will do is we will call a user from all the levels of management. We will contact some stakeholders that they can gather there in the meeting itself. And during the meeting, what they will do is they will test the functionalities, reliability, and security of the components. And immediately they will give the feedback there so that not just the vendors can understand it, but even the organization can understand in detail what are the requirements. So you can remember this acquiring process. Just the vague point here is the geographical location. If you remove geographical location, this entire question looks like a process. How to select a vendor, do background check and all. Then we will tell the vendors to prepare a presentation. If the technical validation is okay, we will refer them to the system acquisition committee. And after we test it, after it is tested by multiple stakeholders, okay, users from all levels of management, we will evaluate the users' feedback. So if you remove that geographical location point, this entire thing looks like a process, but don't skip the geographical location point. It is an important point. After this, now we'll talk about specific acquisition, special points. Okay, what are the points you need to remember when you are acquiring a hardware or when you are acquiring a software? The earlier things we are supposed to do all of that, but for hardware we have some special points and for software we have some special points. In hardware acquisition, we are supposed to prepare an alliance with this supplier. It must not be the case that if you have purchased a hardware, that was a one-time contract. You know that the hardware may have a problem in the future also. So what we will do is we will enter into a contract with him that if any problems come in future, please support us during those times. So that is technically an alliance with the supplier. Now there are three things where we will depend on the supplier. We will depend on the supplier for support, education, and training. Support, education, and training. So we will depend on the supplier to do setting. What is setting? Set. Okay, support, education, and training. Then we will also rely on the vendor for two things: for tested selection techniques and objective selected techniques. Okay, tested selection techniques and it is not a technique, it is a objective selection criteria. Object selection criteria. Yes, what are these things? Tested selection techniques and objective selection criteria. Okay, forget it. Whatever the procedure is there in the organization to how to acquire a hardware and what are the requirements that we have to see, that is a tested selection technique. Sometimes what we will do is, instead of testing and all, we will have a criteria that must be met, that is object selection criteria. Just remember it that way. No need to elaborate. Then software acquisition. If the software is available in the market, we will purchase it. If it is not available in the market, we will purchase the components from the market and develop it in-house. So either we will do it in-house development or we will acquire the entire software from the market. After that, before that, we will assess what are the requirements from the software, what is the processing degree required, what will be the input, what will be the output, what is the nature of software, what are the functions and capabilities required from the software. So basically, again, they have made a list of requirements, and then they have told that if you can't buy it from the market, develop it in-house. Okay, so basically only 2 points are there, but you need to elaborate that we will see functionality requirements, then capability requirements, then input, output processing, and the nature of software. Okay. In hardware acquisition also, there are only 3 points, that what are the things for which we must depend on the supplier and how we will rely on the vendor or the supplier. So small questions, 2 or 3 points only. Now you have received an invitation. Sorry, you have issued invitation to solicit. Now you have received the quotations from the local vendors or the selected vendors. Now we will start validation of vendors proposal. That is question number 1 here. Don't look at the remaining questions. Just look here. Validation of vendors proposal. Okay, obviously first you will compare the costs. After you compare the costs, you will try to analyze that what are the additional features I am going to get if I pay this much amount more. Okay. For example, if you are getting all the functionalities and everything in a mobile which costs only 6,000 rupees, you will try to see that if I pay 10,000, means I want to pay 10,000. What are the additional features the vendor is going to give me for the extra 4,000? So you will compare the cost and the performance. Then you will see what are the benefits of proposed system. After that, we will see maintainability. What is maintainability? If there is a problem with the mobile, whether we have a local support person or not, whether we can fix it on our own or not. So that is basically maintainability. Do we have the time to fix it or not? And if we don't have the time, whether we have the local support person or not. So we will see that whether maintainability is there or not. Now tell me, if you are purchasing a Chinese mobile now, okay, Vivo, Oppo, and all, whether there is maintainability or not.
No, sir, but there are service centers which is not authorized.
There are service centers which are not authorized. They can repair these machines on their own, right? That is what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
So if you have these Chinese mobile phones or the systems and all in the existing system, don't worry, use them. But in the future, if you are purchasing it, make sure that they are maintainable. There are local support persons and all. After that, because the thing is, if you purchase the same thing from the other countries and all, the cost is obviously going to be more. So if you want to do the cost benefit analysis and all, even the Indian government, whenever it is giving contracts, it always compares the contracts with the pricing of the China. The pricing done by the China is always the lowest. Those people are mad people. They have a big city only for technology market. I mean, the entire population is focused in those cities only for technology. So that is why people prefer purchasing technology more from the Chinese company. Then compatibility with the existing system. We have to see whether these Chinese systems, whether they are compatible with the existing system or not, whether they are legal or not, whether it will bring down the morale of the people in the organization or not. So that is how we will test the compatibility. Then vendor support. It must not be the case that we have to take the entire system to the China. Okay, we have to make sure that geographical locations are seen and all. Now, these last 2 points, difficult, expensive, time consuming, that you have to write in the introduction. At the process of validation of vendor's proposal, it is a bit difficult, expensive, and time consuming, because when you give a invitation to solicit, a lot of requests are received. To process them, it takes a lot of time. That time we could have invested in either system development or doing other things. That is why we call it expensive. And if you don't have the expertise and knowledge of doing such a validation, it is a bit difficult to accept the validation and take decisions. So that is what we will call as a date. What is date? Difficult, expensive, and time consuming. DET, date. So once again, we will do the cost benefit analysis. We will see performance, maintainability, compatibility, support given by the vendor, and the benefits of proposed system. So if everything is good and okay, we will accept the vendor's proposal and proceed with the system acquisition. See, now all these questions are very easy. There is nothing hard in understanding it. There is not a lot of technical knowledge as the earlier questions. The earlier part was a bit difficult. Now, what are the methods of validating vendor's proposal? Every organization has a different method of validating vendor's proposal. Now let's see what is a checklist. What is a checklist? We will make a list of the security requirements, reliability requirements, functional requirements, then maintenance capabilities and all. And if they are there in the software, we will put a tick on it. So that is a checklist. It mostly has questions. Okay, it is like a questionnaire. Now, there is a problem. Okay, we will see the problem in a minute. Don't go anywhere.